In September of this year, I released my very first video detailing my intro to comics with Batman Year One. But since then, I read a lot of other stuff, and that's caused two issues. The first issue is just lack of comparisons. When I read Batman Year One here, by definition, I don't have any other comic to compare to. I don't know if the art is good in general, or just good for me, or good relative to something like the era. I have to kind of wing it. Likewise, when I, do this Spider-Man video, I only have 4 other comics to compare to, and I don't know what I'm gonna believe when I read all these other ones. The second issue is I try not to look anything up to kind of preserve this Gen Z authentic experience, or whatever. And what ends up happening is I keep saying incorrect shit. I just, whether it's historically, whether it's about the process of the writing, sometimes just whether who is the writer or penciler, I just get wrong because I'm an idiot. So those are 2 things that I've really been disappointed in my videos watching them back. So the purpose of this video is to go through my top 10 comics by rating. I rate all the comics at 10 at the end of the video, and kind of say either if the stock is up, if it's kind of gotten better in hindsight, or if the stock has gone down, it's kind of gotten worse in hindsight. I'm not going to be re-ranking any of the videos, but I just want to give a quick thoughts because some of my opinions have changed pretty dramatically. Coming in at number 10 is George Perez's Wonder Woman Volume 1, which encompasses his first 14 issues on the character. At the time, I hated this. I hated it for all the issues that I still don't like it for, but I think the main reason why this is a true stock up is twofold. Number one, I can appreciate the art even more, but this art is just really good. Reading other stories, reading other Wonder Woman stories with much worse art really reinforced how much it carried the story and how much it really adds to the storytelling. I talk about how he uses mirrored panels, kind of, for example, how Ares talks to the Soviets and how he talks to the Americans in the same way. That level of sauce, that level of kind of flair, there's not a single page in Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman that has that level of flair. Second thing I really appreciate about this that I did say was good in the video, but I acknowledge is pretty great now, is how much it made me like Diana. I really do appreciate, even though I'm kind of on a break with Wonder Woman comics right now, how much she endeared me in the story and how strong of a character I do think she is. And again, now that I've seen her in a not well-written story where she's bland and she just talks in like this bureaucratic mumbo jumbo, it really makes me appreciate how kind, how genuine, how thoughtful she is in this. Definitely appreciate it more in hindsight. Coming in at number 9, we have Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, not Jack Kirby as I incorrectly say in this video, their original The Amazing Spider-Man, at least the first 10 issues. This is the biggest stock up of this entire list. I adore these. I looked at them so critically in this video, and it's why this is probably the hardest video for me to rewatch, because my only point of comparison was Batman Year One. This is not Breaking Bad. It's not fucking Citizen Kane. It's Spider-Man. Once you go into it understanding that, you'll have a good time, and that is really something that I have not found in most other comics I've read. If you had to make me rank all of the comics I've read by rereadability, would I want to come back to them? I would rather come back to this than like Dark Victory. This just is, it's impossible to read this all and not smile at least a couple times. You just get so much warmth. It's just cozy. It's just a really good vibe, and it's so hard to quantify that in a review score. Coming out with another 10 issue video next week on Amazing Spider-Man, this time 20 through 30. And it's hard because I love them for that, but I can't put that in a purely critical score. So it's really special to me. And if you are looking for cozy, chill comics, this is by far the coziest comic I've ever read. And it's hilarious. Coming in at number 8 is Frank Miller and Klaus Janson's Daredevil Volume 1. This is their core run, and as you can see at this point in the video, it is a tale of 2 parts, the pre-Frank Miller written ones and the post-Frank Miller written ones. I would say this is, I have not changed my opinion that much with this one. It is also a more recent video. I would say a slightly stock down, just because the pre-Frank Miller issues are just so, ugh. Had I started with this as opposed to Man Without Fear, which I'm so thankful that you guys suggested to not do that. I don't know if I would have made it all the way, especially if I hadn't gotten, like, if I was just doing issue by issue and I didn't know that the post-Miller ones were there. If you're a new reader and you just kind of see the first 7 issues be junk, you're not gonna want to read this. So it's so hard to be like, yeah, if you just skip 70% of the issues, it's really good. But the good part is so good. Oh my god, it's like the last 30% of this, Hulk Gray, Batman Year One territory. It's so good. If you are reading this for the first time, skip the pre-Miller ones. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot about this one. This is the shortest comic and I think also shortest video I've made. Mentally have never gone back to this. I don't even think I've rewatched the video. I don't know, man, it's okay, but it just doesn't really have that pizzazz. It has a couple of nice moments. The art is just not it for me. The plot is very, very basic. There's a couple of cool, cute moments. There's a couple of interesting action bits, but it is also so short and nothing really happens. For such a monumental occasion as like the Joker's introduction question mark, I don't really know what it's supposed to be played off in this story, but it's clearly like, here's the Joker. You would think that carries a lot more weight than this story would tell you. It's huge stock down. Probably would rate this as like a 4, honestly, if I had to think it. It's not offensive. I can't be like, oh, this is objectively bad piece of work. You know, I wouldn't reread it ever. Despite the fact that it is not that Ralph Macchio doing the introduction, Daredevil, the Man Without Fear is an absolute stock up. Something I really appreciate about this story in hindsight is how it took a character like Daredevil, who I only knew that he was blind, and turned me into the fan I am today, where he's right up there with my kind of pantheon of superheroes, is incredibly impressive. I still wish that it gave me a little bit more closure for some of these points, or at least something, but I also acknowledge that so many of these are developed in the run, and like, you can't show Elektra's death in this comic like you do in the run. You know, it doesn't really make any sense. Something that I've completely reversed is the art. I love this art. I don't know what the hell I was on when I said I didn't like the art. I definitely don't like the yellow. I'm not a big yellow guy, but it's a style, it's a vibe, and there are so many worse comic book arts that I have read to this point. 100% is the definitive Daredevil origin that I've read, and I can say that because they do his origin like 5 times in Miller's core run. I think it's a great introduction to Daredevil, and I'm super happy I started with it. I don't have a ton to say about Daredevil Volume 2 from Frank Miller and Klaus Janson because I really just read it. It is such a step up from Volume 1. The highs, like the one you see on screen right now, are just incredible. There is filler. There are issues that really don't advance the plot. There are issues that are pretty much ads for other heroes, and those are still really tough, which is why I look back at Man Without Fear so much more fondly than this one. But it's still a great time. It still holds the peak Daredevil that I've read so far. It's Daredevil. It's really good. Read it. Frank Miller. Next, we have the very first video I made on Batman Year One, and I adore this story. Even though this is my first video, I still really am proud of it. I didn't have anything to compare it to, and I really have never read anything else like it since. But I love this story. I think it's so well written. I think it's such a great introduction. The idea of introducing someone to Batman is a pretty daunting task given how much there is in the zeitgeist, and I think this does it so well. Also, the only comic that I own in person, that I own physically, and I'm just going through it, and it's just such a beautifully, I really have yet to read a comic that looks and feels like this. Is it the perfect origin story? No. There still are some minor pacing issues. I still have issues with how things are written because he has to do so many time skips. Blah 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 blah. This is a great story. I love it so much. It's an absolute stock up. I don't really think there's a great answer to what should my first comic be, but this is a pretty damn good answer, I will say. It's a great one. Hulk Gray is also probably in the category of it's too soon to say stock up or stock down, but I really adore this. I adore the team, obviously. I'll talk about them in the next 2 entries. Appreciate this in the same way of Daredevil Man Without Fear, that it's a new character for me for the most part. I didn't really know his full origin story. I don't know who any of these side characters were, but they make it work out really well. The emotions that it really talks about and the themes it talks about, unabashedly complex. I think this is probably the first comic I read that if you're a casual reader and you don't want to think about things, I don't think this is I think you'd think it was slow. I think you'd think it was confusing. it really is like they're trying to show grief and complex relationships with your inner self as a priority. You know, they're not trying to do dumb spectacle. There's like 2 action sequences in this, and they're both really short. At that point, I was just like grinding the action to get to the dialogue, because the dialogue is that good. Batman Year One does not want me to review this one. It's a great story. It's a great little Hulk intro, and it's made me fall in love with the character. Batman Dark Victory is just so good. But it is a stock from a 10 to a 9. So, okay, it's not like it's a trash comic. It's still fucking incredible. The hype has gone down a little bit. It is still probably my GOAT art in a comic, but so much of this story, especially the first, like, 60%, really does feel like Long Halloween DLC. And when I'm thinking about, you know, going back to these, like, I want to go back to Long Halloween. I don't want to go back to this that much. I think the Robin stuff is really the thing that elevates this, you know, a great sequel to a perfect sequel, but understanding that that is not even a plurality of the story recontextualizes some things for me. It's still so good. The art is so good. The action is so good. The dialogue is so good. Everything is so good. It's a really good story. But I think that is a notable enough complaint to differentiate it from Long Halloween. You know, I think it's like a Godfather Part 2, New Hope, Empire situation, where, like, you know, the sequel and the original are hand in hand 10 out of 10 masterpieces, and it really is like the fight of like which one is more perfect. And I think Long Halloween is more perfect. And like getting lost in this art right now, looking at this video, the stock down is immaterial to what it's done. Obviously, a big thank you to everybody who's viewed, subscribed, liked, all that stuff. But I wanted to give a specific thank you because I think it's more meaningful when I do, to the people who've commented, everybody who's commented. I will not be able to name every single person who's commented, but I also want to give a special shout out to the select few of you who I'm hoping you're watching by this point and haven't clicked away about how much I've rambled, who've commented multiple times. It's really beautiful. It's this kind of like parasocial relationship that when I log onto my YouTube channel and I see, oh, Vladdy Olive left a comment. Mike Critique left a comment. Isaac Tracy left a comment. Dan Trudeau left a comment. And I recognize all of y'all. I try to shout you out like, hey, Isaac Tracy, it's me again. I can't name every single person who's done that just because mentally I can't, my brain is fried. Throughout this little screen, some of the folks that come to mind, but also note if I didn't name you, I still really appreciate and love you. I love the comment section. I think it's so beautiful how we discuss, beginner friendly. It's made this process just like so amazing and beautiful and rewarding for me. And you guys really have made so many of my days. So my capture card failed because apparently it does not want me to talk about this comic, but it's not going to stop me because Batman The Long Halloween is my GOAT comic so far. In my opinion, the perfect comic. It has pretty much perfect art, perfect story, perfect pacing. It is just so freaking good. I just think there are so many things done in this comic. There's just a feeling, this intensity, the suspense, the thrill. Like, I have never even read a comic that does this a quarter that Long Halloween and Dark Victory do it. I didn't really think a comic could get me feeling so thrilled. I definitely agree that it should not be your first Batman. I do think it works having some context because, you know, they have a lot of characters, and I compliment the ability from them to balance so many characters. But if you are going into this completely blind, completely raw into Batman, you're gonna get a few pages of Mad Hatter and be like, who the hell is this guy Mad Hatter? I didn't even know who Mad Hatter was when I read this, but I knew he was a Batman villain. Like, understanding the premise of the Batman mythos is an important prerequisite. You'll still enjoy this. Like, anybody can enjoy this in the same way anybody can enjoy other great works of art, but you'll enjoy it less. It's just so goated. It really is. That's all I could say about it. I love it. It's my most viewed video. I'm so happy that is a coincidence with my most viewed video and my most highest rated comic. And I hope to get to the next point where another comic can get to this point, to this height. As mentioned before, next week I'm going to be continuing The Amazing Spider-Man with issues number 20-30. So if you don't want to miss that, hop on board, subscribe, and as always, suggest me other heroes or stories that you might want to hear. And I look forward to making more in 2026. Happy holidays.